Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mark Music Lover. I'm Mark and I love music. So you've seen the title. I'm about to go through all the bands or artists I've seen live. Now, I started going to my first concerts in 1977, a long time ago, and I haven't been to a live gig since 2012, I think it was, so quite a while. Not quite sure why that is, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Um, I've broken down the list into a few different categories. There's quite a lot of bands, so I'm not sure how long this video will take, and I'm not sure how interesting it's going to be. But you perhaps you'll let me know. Anyway, so let's get cracking. I'll try not to take too long over this. I've also got some tour programs and tickets to sort of illustrate some of the bands I've seen. Okay, so I'm going to need my glasses. So here goes. The very first band I ever saw was in 1977, and it is my all-time favourite band by coincidence. That is T-Rex, and it was the last ever tour. Here is the tour program, the Dandy in the Underworld tour. Look at that picture of the band on stage. I think this was in Paris, but I saw them in Bristol. And here is a flyer from the gig, and I managed to get signed by the drummer Tony Newman. So that's T-Rex in 1977, and of course the Damned were the support act, who were quite brilliant, I thought, and I went to go on to see them again. Next, I've got David Bowie. I didn't see him till many years later. I only really saw him once by himself headlining. It wasn't the best concert, and I'm a huge Bowie fan. It was on the Glass Spider tour in the 80s, and yeah, I'm not going to go into why I didn't enjoy it, but sadly, I only got to saw him once again, and I will mention this now because I saw a lot of acts at this concert, and it's the Freddie Mercury tribute concert at Wembley, and that's my ticket for that show. And of course David Bowie was there, so I got to see him a second time. Okay, and there are many acts that I saw at that show that I went on to sort of follow and bought albums by them and went to see them in concert headlining. Okay, so right, the next one, I wasn't going to mention this act or artist, but let's have a bit of honesty on this channel. So and that is Gary Glitter. Yeah, I saw him in Brixton in the 90s. It was a fun show, but yeah, so that's it. I'm not going to talk any more about that. Moving on swiftly, Queen. Saw them in 1977, 1978, and twice in 1986. My favourite show was the first one in 1977. I love that period of Queen in the 70s. It was at Bristol Hippodrome. Okay, I had concert programs for the two 70s concerts, but I've since sold them, unfortunately. Okay, so that was the first sort of category, a kind of a bit of a glam rock kind of era. I don't know if you can put Queen in that category, or Bowie, or T-Rex. So I don't know why I said that. Okay, stop mumbling. Let me have some water. I've got a bit of a throat going on here. Okay, the next category is a more of a post-punk, new wave period, and I do love that genre of music. So I went to a great concert at the Lyceum in London. There were 4 acts on playing. So you had the Specials, you had the Mekons, you had the Fall, you had Human League, and you had Gang of Four. Great concert. It's often spoken about as one of the best gigs, or you had to be there and blah blah blah. So that was that. Also at the Lyceum, I saw the UK subs, Stiff Little Fingers, and The Damned for the second time. I had a friend that was friendly with a guy that ran the fan club for the Revillos, not the Rezillos, the Revillos, and we used to get free tickets to see the Revillos, and I saw them many times, mainly playing small universities. Great act, great fun, loved them. Then we've got Bow Wow Wow, who I saw at the what's the venue called? It's in Finsbury Park. The Rainbow, yeah, great venue. Bow Wow Wow, and also I think Boy George made his first appearance before he formed Culture Club. Okay, next up, Duran Duran. I'm a big Duran Duran fan. I've seen them 5 times in total. Then we have The Cure. It was a great show at Wembley Arena. Really long show. I couldn't quite stay to the end because I had to catch a train home, but it was great. It was that during that Disintegration tour. Simple Minds, I saw the Hammersmith Odeon, and that was on the Sparkle in the Rain tour. Then I've got U2, and I got a complimentary ticket. This was at Wembley Stadium. It was the Zooropa 93 tour. Yeah, it was a complimentary ticket because I think they did about 4 shows at Wembley Stadium, and the last one didn't sell out, so they gave away tickets to people that were currently unemployed, and I was one of them. So I was fortunate to get a ticket, and here it is, U2 at Wembley Stadium. Right, moving on. Big Country. I saw supporting Queen at Nebworth, and possibly they may have supported David Bowie as well. I could be wrong at Wembley. Okay, so the next band or artist, very important to me, and the band is Japan, who I saw supporting Blue Oyster Cult in Bristol. And that was very early period Japan, but also David Sylvian, who was when Japan split, he's the lead singer. He went on to form a fantastic career, completely different type of music really, and I saw him twice, and this is the program for the first tour, the In Praise of Shamans tour. Beautifully artistic program. Yeah, anyway, you get the gist. That was a great show, Hammersmith Odeon, and then I saw him at the on the South Bank, forgotten the name of the theatre. Okay, so that's that. I didn't show you my Duran Duran program. Again, another very artistic looking program. This was on the Wedding album tour. So yeah, I seen them about 5 times in total. Only once with the original lineup, and that was when they reformed, and that was at Earl's Court. Right, we're now going to. Oh no, I haven't quite finished this category. So In Excess, I've seen them twice. Big fan of In Excess. I saw them supporting Queen at Wembley Stadium, and then at Wembley Arena on probably what was their last UK tour, Elegantly Wasted tour. Great band, miss them a lot. Okay, I saw the Police at Hammersmith Odeon just when they were coming up, and I remember it was #1 in the charts, and that was Message in a Bottle. And then I've also seen David Byrne, the lead singer from Talking Heads, in concert, again at the South Bank Theatre. That was a great show, it really was. Okay, so we're now going to move into a more rock category, and I'm going to start off with what they often call themselves the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Rolling Stones. And I saw them at Wembley Stadium, and it was the Voodoo Lounge tour. And where is my program for the Voodoo Lounge tour? Actually, I have also got a ticket. So that is the ticket. And the date on here is Sunday, the 16th of July, 1995. Here is the program, Voodoo Lounge. What's the best way to open this up? I've really got to have a look through these programs again, because there's a lot of detail in them. Yeah, let's open that. So, anyway, I stopped buying programs sort of at one point. I just thought they got so expensive. I don't even know how much they are now, probably at least 20-25 pounds. So that's the Rolling Stones. Then another band I really like and have seen 3 times, and they are the Black Crowes. There's my ticket. This is for the Shepherd's Bush Empire, and I think I've got another ticket I have for Brixton Academy. And the third time I saw them was at the Royal Albert Hall. They are touring this year. I may possibly go again. But anyway, here's the programme. The Black Crowes. There they are. What a great band. And great live performers as well. That's the Black Crowes. Okay, next I've got Plant and Page. So Robert Plant and Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and they did a, I think it was called Unleaded, so it's almost like an unplugged series of concerts. I saw them at Wembley Arena. Here is the programme. Yeah, mainly all Led Zeppelin songs, a couple of new ones thrown in, I seem to remember. Yeah, so Plant and Page. Yeah, I was glad to have been there. And then I also saw Robert Plant twice. Here's a ticket for Brixton Academy. And here is the concert programme. And it was the Fate of Nations tour. And I saw him a second time. But this was a really great show, and I seem to remember Chris Robertson from the Black Crowes came on and performed with him, like a duet, so that was quite a nice surprise. Oasis I've seen twice at Wembley Stadium and Finsbury Park. I was quite a fan of Oasis. Yeah, they are a good band, I still like them. I met Noel Gallagher just before Christmas. That was quite interesting. Anyway, Paul Weller. I saw him at a show in Finsbury Park. There were a lot of other acts on, but I can't really remember them all, so I'm not going to mention them. Then there is The Cult, who I am quite a big fan of. And this is the programme. This is the ceremony tour, or ceremonial stomp tour, Wembley Arena. I think there's some really great pictures in here. I have seen the Cult three times in concert, but I have to say they've always been, for me anyway, a little bit of a disappointment. I don't know what it is. I think perhaps they're a little bit shambolic live. don't know, but anyway, let me know your thoughts on the Cult if you have any. So, one of the Cult shows I saw was at Finsbury Park. It was a kind of a festival, and Pearl Jam were on the bill, so I thought I'd give them a mention. They just come out with their first album, and of course they went on to be huge. Okay, next up, Guns N' Roses. I've seen twice headlining and once at the Freddie Mercury tribute. I saw them again at Wembley Stadium, and then I saw them at Milton Keynes. They were much better at Wembley Stadium than Milton Keynes. I thought maybe it was the venue, I don't know, but this is the programme from the Milton Keynes show. But yeah, do love Guns N' Roses. I really think they're great, and it's a shame they had such a sort of long gap in, and I don't know. Let's not get talk about that now. So Guns N' Roses, another band I saw at the Freddie Mercury tribute, and I've seen 3 times. Is it R or is? When you say a band, it's is, isn't it? Is Def Leppard, and this is from the Adrenalize tour, as you can tell from that cover, and they called it the 7-day weekend tour. Yeah, good band, not everyone's cup of tea, but I like this kind of metal. I don't like too heavy rock. In fact, yeah, this is really kind of a soft rock, I suppose, and bordering on sort of that AOR, which I don't mind at all. So that is Def Leppard. I've seen them 3 times. Okay, now talking of a harder rock sound, Metallica, who I saw first at the Freddie Mercury tribute show. They opened the show. They were amazing. I hadn't really heard any of their stuff before. It is a harder, heavier rock. I can't. That's the heaviest I will go with my rock music. I'm not going to get into Slayer and Megadeth and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a good show at Earl's Court. It was the Load period, but yeah, the Black Album is the one I like. To be honest with you. Right. Another band I saw at the Freddie Mercury tribute show is Extreme. They are a great band. They should have been bigger. That's the original lineup. Yeah, great live band. Haven't recorded many albums. There he is, Gary Sharon. Okay, Extreme. Have I got a ticket for that? No. Oh, I didn't show you my Guns N' Roses ticket for Milton Keynes. Right. Okay, next up, Whitesnake. I have seen twice. Once headlining at Hammersmith Odeon, and then the second time they were supporting Def Leppard at Wembley Arena. Great band, one of my favourite rock bands. Love David Coverdale, what a voice. Okay, then slightly more up to date, The Darkness, who I saw supporting Def Leppard at Brixton Academy. Amazing to think Def Leppard played Brixton Academy. I mean, it's a great venue, but it's not the usual stadium size arena that they usually play. And I know during this point in their career they were sort of a little bit down. I think it was that X album, so I think they decided just to play smaller venues on that tour to test the water. But they had the Darkness with them, who were just up and coming. They hadn't even released their big hit, I Believe in a Thing Called Love. I think it was just their first single that was out, but they were great, really I love The Darkness. They're funny, but great musicians as well. Okay, then we've got a band, a big rock band from America called Kiss. I'm not a huge fan of Kiss, but my nephew liked them and he wanted to go, so he came up to London, stayed with me, and we went to see Kiss. It was a good show. I enjoyed it, but I don't own any of their music, and I probably would never go to see them again. So that's Kiss, and then another band in that kind of genre, not Aerosmith. I've never seen them, but Bon Jovi, and this was at the O2 Arena, and this was date on here is June 2010. This was for the Circle tour. Bon Jovi, it was a great show. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea. It's kind of they're in that Def Leppard kind of softer rock. Okay, so that was Bon Jovi. Cinderella, what a great band. I never got into them during their sort of peak in the 80s, but I just discovered them much later, and I was really surprised. They're not hair metal, they're kind of more of a blues in the sort of Rolling Stones mould, I think. Okay, here we are. I've got 3 bands all performed together. Classic AOR, Styx, Foreigner and Journey, and this was at Wembley Arena. Yeah, it was a great show. All bands I really enjoyed. Okay, similarly, I've seen Europe. I've seen them twice. I think once was at the Roundhouse and once was at the Shepherd's Bush Empire. They're not just a one song band with what's their big hit? I'm not going to remember it. I know the Final Countdown. Yeah, I remembered it. Yeah, they're much more than that, and it was a great show. Another band, Thunder. I've seen them twice. I've got 2 programs by them. This is the first show I saw, which was the Laughing on Judgment Day, and then the second show, Behind Closed Doors, and that's the 3 albums they had out up to that point, and they happen to be their 3 best albums, I think. So that was Thunder. Then a kind of a band that didn't really make it big, but they had a few hits, Skin. And I think I saw them, well, it tells me where I saw them, doesn't it? Yeah, the Forum in Kentish Town in London. Yeah, they could have been huge, but probably, again, one of these bands that came out a little bit too late, and sort of grunge was starting up, and those bands became so uncool, unfortunately. Right, another band, not huge in this country. In fact, I've got 2 more coming up. Winger, I saw at the Islington O2, a small venue, not far from me actually. They're actually playing again this year. I might go. I really think Winger are a good band. And likewise, I also saw at the same venue, not on a different occasion, Night Ranger. Remember Sister Christian? Yes, you all do. Okay, 2 big acts coming up next. Bruce Springsteen, the boss. I've seen him twice. First time was at Arsenal Football Ground, and the second time, I thought I saw a ticket. Maybe not. Second time was at I've got a ticket, excuse me. Second time was at the Olympic Park. So after we had the Olympic Games in London, they had some shows on, and this is dated June 2013. This was actually the last rock concert I ever went to, so I am due to go to another one. I did go and see a small jazz concert at Ronnie Scott's. I think it was late last year, but that was the only time I've seen a show since this one. I think one of the reasons is the cost of tickets now. I'm not really prepared to pay big money, like three figures, to see, a big act. Like, for example, I know he's been charging quite a lot. So yeah, I do like Bruce Springsteen. I mean, you get your money's worth. You get, he plays for over 2.5 hours, so who knows. Right, now the next section is the female artists. Now there aren't that many. There's about six, or there is six. So first off, Patti Smith. I saw her at the Shepherd's Bush Empire. It was an amazing show. I can't remember the year. It was in the 90s. I think she just released the album Gone Again. Excuse me, I need to have water. Excuse me. And then the same venue, I saw Sheryl Crow. And then at Brixton Academy, I saw Alanis Morissette. She was great live. Then I saw, I think it was the Victoria Palace Theatre, which is not normally known for live shows, but Fiona Apple. I just kind of had discovered her, and then I realised she was playing a show, and I went to see it, and then I went and bought all her albums. Yeah, brilliant artist. Amy Mann, again at the Shepherd's Bush Empire. And then Marianne Faithfull, who I saw, and I'm not going to remember the name of the venue, but it doesn't exist anymore. Okay, and finally, I've got another category of sort of odds and bits and bobs, or sort of oddities. I mean, no offense to the artists, because they're all good. So first one is the Zac Brown Band. I saw, I think, was it Hammersmith Odeon, or was it Shepherd's Bush Empire? I can't remember. So that was the Zac Brown Band. A little bit sort of country, alt country, or country rock. Then George Michael at Earl's Court. Now, I had seen him at the, you got it, Freddie Mercury tribute show, but then I went to see him headline. Now, when these shows were announced, they were said to be his last ever concerts, but that turned out to be incorrect. He did go on to do at least one more tour, and then sadly we all know what happened to poor old George. And similarly with the next act, who met an early demise, and that's Prince. And I went to see him at the O2 Arena in London. I saw him twice. I think he was doing 21 shows there. One of the best concerts I've ever been to, and that's Prince. Then slightly different type of music here, the Pet Shop Boys. I also saw at the same venue at the O2. Was never a fan of this band during their sort of 80s peak, but all of a sudden it just clicked, and I thought, you know what, they are quite good. So I went to see them, and it was a good show. That's the Pet Shop Boys. And last but not least, I've got Primal Scream. Love them. Kind of underrated in a way, in as much as I kind of don't play them enough. But yeah, great rock and roll band, really. So that's Primal Scream. So that is the lot. I just want to give you possibly 4 concerts that in my head stick out as being the best shows that I've seen. The first one, obviously, T-Rex, my favourite band. So then we have Queen, the show in 1977 in Bristol. That was the A Day at the Races tour. Then I'm going to go with Neil Young. I don't think I've missed out Neil Young. So I saw Neil Young twice. Once was in Finsbury Park, and I didn't really know a lot of Neil Young music apart from sort of the obvious stuff like Heart of Gold. And I just became such a big fan after that show, and it poured down with rain, but it just didn't matter, and it was a unforgettable show. And then I went to see him a few years later at the Hammersmith Odeon, and he was performing an entire new album called Greendale that had never been released, and he just performed the whole show. We were all seated, and you couldn't sort of move, even go to the bathroom. And then the second half of the show, he played some hits, so that was quite a relief. But yeah, it was great. I love Neil Young. So yeah, so that Finsbury Park show was another highlight. And then the fourth highlight for me was seeing Prince. Okay, so we've gone over the half-hour mark. I'm just going to quickly mention a few acts that I've never seen that I wished I had seen. Okay, so some of them are quite obvious, really. Led Zeppelin, would have loved to have seen them. Genesis, I would love to have seen them, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't. I would have liked to have seen Genesis during the period when Peter Gabriel left and Phil Collins took over, and it was that sort of trick of the tail, Wind and Wuthering. They had a live album called Seconds Out that I had bought at the time, and that's when I sort of fell in love with Genesis. So that's my favourite period. Okay, Pink Floyd. I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan, but I do think their live shows would have been something special. Now, here's a great band, Thin Lizzy. Would have loved to have seen them. Kate Bush, yeah, not much chance of seeing her because she rarely performs. Supertramp, I'm a big Supertramp fan, never seen them in concert. I'd have liked to have seen Fleetwood Mac during that the Rumours lineup. And Michael Jackson, I would have loved to have seen Michael Jackson. Yeah, another one that sadly left us too soon. Okay, that's it. I hope if you have stuck with me till the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Leave me some comments, maybe some of your favourite concerts you've seen, and what do you think of my choice. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.